Ladies and gentlemen, it's easy to confuse Lakshadweep with Maldives if you're just looking at pictures. Both are the ultimate sun, sea and sand destination. Maldives for the celebs and Lakshadweep for the rest of us. So today it was interesting to see celebrities jump onto the Boycott Maldives bandwagon and promote Lakshadweep. Akshay Kumar, who has just returned from Maldives, post his New Year break being one of them. Let's leave celebrity hypocrisy to one side and talk about a story that has more than just tourism at stake. India has had every right to be outraged over the weekend and today as well. 3 Maldivian MPs made immature, stupid, racist comments about Prime Minister Modi after he tweeted his pictures from Lakshadweep. Let's put out those pictures. They've now gone viral. These are pictures that came with a message. Let's put out those pictures as well. These are pictures that came out with a message, visit Lakshadweep. It was as simple as that. These 3 MPs from Maldives had a meltdown, post these pictures going viral, and social media after that burst in anger. Boycott Maldives started trending. Celebrities started saying, let's go vocal for local. Ease My Trip, a travel company, cancelled all its flight bookings to Maldives. And then the online spat blew up into a real-world diplomatic row. India today summoned Maldives High Commissioner. During the meeting, which we are told lasted barely 5 minutes, India categorically told the Maldivian envoy that his country has strained ties with India, and it's now up to Maldives president, who just, by the way, is in China right now, to repair them. In a swift tit-for-tat response, the Maldivian government too summoned India's High Commissioner, where it reiterated that remarks made against Prime Minister Modi are not representative of the country's stand. In the meantime, the 3 errant MPs have also been suspended. One had called the Prime Minister a puppet of Israel and the clown. The other had said Indian hotel rooms are permanently smelly. India had reason to be angry, and Indians were angry, rightfully so. Maldives has for long been India's favorite tourist spot. But the tag took a serious hit as Boycott Maldives started trending on social media. There were several Bollywood stars, cricketers, all jumped onto the trend and have urged Indians now to opt for diplomatic destinations rather than going to Maldives. They're saying, why don't you go see beaches here in India rather than going to Maldives? Now, Maldives, on the other hand, relies on tourism. It's its largest industry. Tourism, in fact, contributes to 28% of its GDP. If we take into account the data released by Maldives Tourism, around 2,09,000 Indian tourists visited the island nation, which is 11% of all foreigners. That makes India the largest contributor to the island nation's economy. By the numbers, it is evident that Maldives can definitely not survive a boycott by Indians. Now, the relations between the two countries have dived following these derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Modi. But let me tell you that our ties have always been blow hot, blow cold. They recently entered choppy waters after the election of Mohamed Nasheed as Maldives president, whose entire campaign was pegged around India out. The new president from his campaigning days has signaled a departure from the India first approach, adopting a softer tone towards China, which is actually very different from the previous regime. Currently, as we speak, Maldives president is in China. Before being elected, Mohamed Nasheed began his election campaign that was centered around anti-India stand. In its Out India campaign, Nasheed had claimed he will remove Indian troops, there are 75 soldiers in Maldives, from the island nation, raising eyebrows everywhere. So that's the reality. But the fact is, India has no troops, but it has also a couple of advanced light helicopters and a Dornier aircraft in Maldives, which is maintained by some 100+ staff, which is used for medical evacuations, for surveillance, for air rescue operations as well. In fact, during the COP28 summit, Prime Minister Modi and the Maldivian president had a brief conversation over the issue as well. It is learned that both nations agreed to set up a core group that will look at details of how to take this forward. Meanwhile, China, as expected, is fishing in troubled waters. Through its mouthpiece today, Global Times, in an editorial, it has asked India to have an open-minded approach to looking at South Asian issues. It has also said that it respects the friendly and cooperative relationship between the Maldives and India and doesn't consider it as a threat. My guest this evening, Dnyaneshwar Mulay, is a former High Commissioner of India to the Maldives, joining us on the broadcast. Kishore Subramaniam is a financial expert, and Major General Dhruv Katoch is Director of the India Foundation. Dhruv Katoch, I'm coming to you first. There are many who are saying, look at the location of Maldives. Forget this Lakshadweep versus Maldives spat. It is brief, it's temporary, it'll blow over. But don't overreact. And if you need to know why you should not overreact, you just have to take the map, you just have to take a close look of the map of the Indian Ocean region, the IOR. Maldives' location is strategic. The last thing you want there is China sitting there and keeping an eye out on you. Dhruv Katoch, are we then overreacting? Is this entire spat good for Lakshadweep but bad for India's strategic interests?
Thank you, Shreya. Shreya, I think one thing we need to understand, I think it is totally unacceptable for a foreign country to comment on India's internal affairs. Now, if the Prime Minister of India is promoting tourism within India, I don't see any reason why the Maldivians should even protest or go virulent. I think that behavior was unacceptable. But the environment has been created in Maldives, starting from the president downwards, which to the people of Maldives makes this acceptable. Now, for a very long time, India has been used as a whipping boy. You know, when they have their local elections there, they use this anti-India tirade to win votes. Now, I think that is unacceptable. You've got your local issues, use them. What has India done to the Maldives besides giving assistance whenever required? And it has been consistent, whether they required water or food items, or whether they were in distress on HADR missions. India was there to help. India has never interfered in the internal affairs of Maldives, which is a very tiny island nation of just 500,000. So why should Maldives now suddenly start getting anti-India? I think that is the larger question which we should ask. Now, on the strategic angle, you see, everybody understands that Maldives' location is strategic. So does that mean that India should bow down and say, okay, you're strategic, so we won't say anything to you? In this particular spat, it is the social media which has actually taken it up against the Maldives. It is the people of India. It is not the government of India. The government of India has reacted at the government level. They've simply called the envoy. But the rest of the case has been taken up with the people of India who feel humiliated. I mean, how can somebody talk about India in the way they have done? How can they talk about the Prime Minister of India in the way they have done? That is unacceptable. And if you want good relations, I think there needs to be a better balance. So there has to be a deterrence. And I think this is the deterrence which we have to tell the people of Maldives. Listen, you may get into bed with China, but remember, if you are in trouble, the only country which can help you is India. And also remember that China is not a very pleasant bedmate. We know what has happened in Sri Lanka. We know what has happened in many of the African countries. They will buy out the Maldivians at the cost of the Maldives people. So it's up to them. They are an independent country. They are a sovereign country. But if they expect India to bow down, I think that is unacceptable. It is not that India is going overboard. I think it is a very genuine reaction of the people of India. The government of India will react appropriately.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Shreya.
They have today. Mr. Mulay, thank you, sir. I'm just getting in Mr. Mulay for the other point of view. Mr. Mulay, it's all very well for India's diplomats to tell us to calm down a bit, to say, don't overreact. Lakshadweep's tourism, we want that, but the last thing we want is a geostrategic problem at our hand. I understand that. But respond to what Dhruv Katoch is saying. Just because Maldives is located strategically, just because China has interests in Maldives, does it mean that India will keep quiet and let MPs from Maldives say whatever rubbish comes to their mouth for the Prime Minister of India?
Well, I don't think I can really answer that question, but I do feel that Indian people have reacted. If the question of reaction is concerned. So far as the government is concerned, I'm sure it's unacceptable. What has been said is unforgivable, and I'm sure there are ways in which government is trying to, convey its message. And we are told that the ambassadors in both the countries have been, called by the foreign ministries, and there has been some discussion. Let's see what is the outcome. And you also pointed out that right now President Boizo is in China, and in whatever happened before he went, the three ministers have not been sacked, but they have been suspended. Now it's for us to see whether they are actually suspended forever, public sacked, and what happens to them. It's an important question, but I do feel that this question alone should not hold the relationship on hold, or in any way this should be bothering us beyond a point, because we have other businesses to do. The new government has just stepped in. It is yet to settle down. As you know, that Maldives is just a 15-year-old democracy. It's in teenage, while India, we are a 75-year-old formal democracy, and a functioning democracy, and an effectively functioning democracy. So to what extent really we get into this and hype this beyond a particular point, people of India have made their point very clearly. That's what I feel. Now we should really allow the diplomacy to proceed, diplomacy to go forward. And, there is, while there are, the relationship are somewhat strained as of now, we see that, we feel that it's not good for India, it's certainly not good for Maldives either. The diplomacy really needs to now be more effective on both sides to sort it out. I do not believe that Maldives
Mr. Mulay, can you...
let me finish this sentence. I do not believe
Mr. Mulay,
that
can I just
Maldives wants to, in any way go its relationship with India bad or worse from this point. I do not believe that point.
Okay. Can I just ask, very briefly, can I just ask you to tell my viewers why the current spat getting worse is not good for India, and it's not good for the Maldives, and it's not good for the Indian Ocean region? What is the fear here? The relationship has always been blow hot, blow cold. Right now it's blow cold. The previous regime was blow hot. But what's the real worry here?
Well, there's no worry. India needn't worry about Maldives, because if this thing worsens, it's Maldives which is going to lose more than India. No, that's certain. At the same time, as I said, we cannot hold the relationship. It isn't one-dimensional. It's a multi-dimensional relationship. There is a people-to-people relations. Let me tell you that almost on all islands in Maldives which have been inhabited, there are Indian doctors and teachers. We have certainly a lot of strategic and security-related arrangements with them. This incident is serious enough. I do not doubt that. The question is whether we should hold on to the other aspects of relationship at this stage. So people have expressed their feelings legitimately and very effectively. Now we have to get on to business. That is my view, because Maldives is too precious to us to also abandon for a variety of reasons. Indian Ocean interests of India, whether it is, the sea lane terrorism, whether it is narcotics, whether it's a trafficking, whether it is the maritime routes, piracy. Now Houthis have started attacking ships and boats. So there are any number of dimensions which really include people to people to strategy. And therefore we have to be, we are a matured nation. We have to be matured in approaching these issues. And certainly, as I said, people have expressed their anger, angst, legitimately so. But we need to move on. One issue can't hold on. We have a lot of things to sort out with Maldives right now. You rightly said that there has been ups and downs.
Okay.
But it's a really a very
you're saying we need to move on.
We need to move on, certainly, because
you're saying we need to move on.
Identify
let
the
me get
issues,
in Kishore Subramania
bottlenecks, and address them.
Mr. Mulay, let me get in Kishore Subramania as well. And I'm getting in Kishore Subramania not as a financial expert, but getting him as a citizen of India who makes enough money to travel to Maldives every year. Isn't that right, Kishore?
No, do not put me in the celebrity list, first point, because I'm not one. Point number one. Yesterday's tweet of mine, which said Mariyam, the minister. Okay, go with your question, I'll answer you. So yesterday.
No, go ahead. You were saying something.
Okay, so yesterday my tweet which said that, the minister Mariyam created a world record single-handedly by making the maximum economic loss to a country by a single tweet. 140 characterless tweet. So that was my tweet and it went fairly viral. But I think this is the historical thing of sort, because this is a Twitter war which erupted between common Twitterati and then it expanded and exploded. I agree with my panelist that the ministers of Maldives had no business to use such derogatory language. If you're getting me as a citizen voice and you want me to tell what's my personal opinion, I am hurt. Definitely, I am hurt that a country of its size and nature, and specifically when India has been obviously offering its helping hand, be it water, be it COVID, be it humanitarian crisis, anything, I think India has been a friend, never a foe. And I think Maldives had no business, at least in official capacity. And that too, you should remember one simple fact. No personnel from the government of India ever tweeted or wrote a single word till this moment. So all Maldives ministers and officials had no business. If it was between Twitter users of Maldives or others, then it would have been a different story. The cancellations may stop, the cancellations may reduce, people may eventually go. But I think it was very, very bad of Maldives people, government officials to write this.
Okay, so essentially India has made its point. More importantly, Indians have made their point. Is this now time for matters to rest? Is this now time for things to be, for it to let go, for all of us to let go what has happened? What happened was wrong, all of us are hurt. But as the former ambassador to Maldives is pointing out, Maldives is just a 15-year-old democracy and we are a 75-year-old democracy. Maldives is still not a teenager. And we are in the Vanaprastha stage right now. So should we be more forgiving? Possibly we should be. Everyone will have a view on this. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Kishore Subramania, thank you for joining us. Mr. Mulay, thank you very much for your perspective. And very good to have you, Major General Dhruv Katoch as well. Thank you very much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap from me. My colleague Shreya joining you at the top of 9 with all the day's headlines. Do stay with us.